Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being, and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to answer the call of love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. As we gather, we acknowledge that Arlington Street Church occupies the ancestral homeland of the Massachusetts. By making this land acknowledgement, we recognize, honor, and affirm the sovereignty of all First Nations peoples.
Our first hymn is Morning Has Come, number 1000. If you could join us and stand if you're willing and able.
Dear ones, welcome. Welcome to our Zoomers. Welcome to the congregation gathered here in person. I want to say a very special welcome to Les Phillips, an Arlington Street person visiting in person from his home in California. Les, welcome home. And Kellyanne, where is your daughter Hayden? We want to welcome Hayden. Hayden, great to have you here. Kellyanne is slowly roping her children into church. We love that. Welcome, sweetie. We're glad to have you here. It's great. And Patty, how great to see you back. Patrice is back from Florida. Great, the snowbirds are going to start coming home to us. Great to see you, darling. Friends, it is Red Tulips Sunday. Each year on the Sunday closest to Joseph McAllister's birthday, his wonderful friends, Martin Anderson, Jana Sundberg, and Eileen Fitzgerald of blessed memory, remember Joseph with his favorite flowers. A co-founder of Club Cafe and a beloved member of Arlington Street Church, Joseph lived a vibrant, generous, and too short life after living with AIDS for 8 years. He died in June of 1993 at the age of 38. Recently, his friend Brian recounted the story of meeting Joseph. Brian was eating at Club Cafe one evening when a man addressed his best friend Mona with a racist slur. Brian, dressed in 6-inch stiletto heels, stood up and punched the guy in the face. Joseph came over to break up the fight. Jason assumed Joseph was going to throw him out of the club, but after he heard the story, he threw out the other guy, sent a bottle of champagne to Jason's table, and offered Mona an apology and a job. This is quintessential Joseph. In 1994, in his memory, the AIDS Action Committee dedicated the Joseph McAllister House, Boston's first residence architecturally designed to accommodate the needs of people living with AIDS. To this day, it is home to 9 previously unhoused people. He would have loved that. My friend, Joseph McAllister. Presente. Director of Music Mark David Buckles is out today with COVID. This morning, Hannah Shanefield, our soprano soloist, called in sick. We want to say thank you so much to our musicians this morning who have leapt into the void. Bexer, vocals and French horn, and Sam Lagrego. Sam, you're just incredible. Vocals and percussion. Welcome home to our beloved Hyungju. We've missed you so much. We're glad you're here on collaborative piano. And thank you today also to our beautiful, tiny but mighty choir. We're really excited to hear you. Reverend Beth is hybrid today in the sanctuary and in the Zoom room. Good morning, Reverend Beth. Thank you also to our volunteers, greeters, and ushers, the tech team and worship team. Hala, the Arlington Street Church Choir again. We have 2 new crews of volunteers to thank as well. Sarah Cooleybeck, heading up the live chat coffee hour team. Sarah, thank you so much. If you are here in person, Sarah is in search of some more in-person volunteers, people who would be willing on a Sunday morning to arrive just a little bit early to help set up and to stay less than half an hour late to break down the coffee setup. You can speak with me, or Sarah, give us a wave. You can speak with Sarah. That would be incredibly helpful. Just even occasionally would make a huge difference. Thank you. And I also want to thank the members of our Spring Gala planning team who've been meeting on Zoom every Thursday night to plan a fabulous party for us on May 4th. Please be sure it's on your calendar, and May the 4th be with us. It is going to be sparkly. It's going to be very fun. If you would like to volunteer to be any part of that evening, we'd love it. Please speak with me. Today marks the opening of Covenant Renewal season, when we renew our great covenant of love and service and pledge our financial support to the good work of this beloved spiritual community. Covenant Renewal Sunday is March 3rd. Our theme this year is All In. In a few minutes following the affirmation and covenant, you're going to be hearing from our beloved Sue Reamer, zooming in from Gulfport, Florida, sharing a few minutes about why she's all in. Thank you, Sue. Friends, the sanctuary is mask optional. Please find your comfort level. Masks are available from the ushers. For those of you who are new to Arlington Street, a very special welcome to you. I don't usually talk this much at the beginning. I'm almost done. For those of you who are here in person, there are welcome cards in the pew racks. Please hand yours to an usher or drop it in the basket at the great doors as you leave. And for those of you in the Zoom room, please fill out a connection card. The link is in the chat. It includes the option to request a link to a recording of today's sermon. Since Reverend Beth and I can't greet all of you after the service, we would love to follow up with a virtual hello. Whether you have been coming here for years or today is your very first time at Arlington Street, welcome home.
Good morning. If you're here in person, there are printed copies of the order of service available from the ushers at the great doors. If you're zooming in, the order of service will appear in the chat, or you can download it at the homepage at ascboston.org. As we begin our greetings, I invite the Zoomers and those in person with a device handy to please say hello in the chat and tell us where you're zooming in from. And now Jen is going to turn the camera on the in-person congregation as we wave at each other, as well as our friends in the Zoom room. And you all in the Zoom room wave and smile back. Hello, friends. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Please rise in body, rise in spirit for our first hymn, hymn 40, The Morning Hangs a Signal.
The morning
time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow in the chat. Zoomers are invited to light silent candles at home. Those in the sanctuary are invited to light a silent candle at the table up front to the right of the Gleason podium. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in the service and in the chat.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
A Candle of Sorrow from Bradley Cohen. My mom, Barbara Cohen, died last week at 95. She raised her family to explore and question the world around us. She marched with Martin Luther King and in many gay pride parades. Hesitant at first, she embraced my drag persona, Wanda the Galaxy, with delight and pride. She befriended every aide, janitor, nurse, and doctor who arrived at her door. Her long illness taught her acceptance and showed me new ways of loving. I am grateful to Philip Roberts, Judah LeBlanc, and others at ASC for their ongoing support as I care for her. Barbara Cohen, Presente. A Candle of Healing and Concern from Harriet Hury. This is a candle for my daughter's mother-in-law, Sheila, who is quite ill in the hospital in Nova Scotia, and for 2 disability activist friends who are struggling to access health care. A mixed candle from Laura Pattison. A candle for Laura Catanzaro, who will have elective and essential ear surgery next week, so she will have hearing in her right ear for the first time ever. We want to ask people to surround Laura C. in a blanket of love next Tuesday, as suggested by Peggy Huddleston, author of Prepare for Surgery, Heal Faster.
And a final candle of deepest sympathy for Doc and Morgan on the loss of their cat, Gibbs, who died on Thursday morning of advanced leukemia. He was a foundation of the household and will be missed. We love you, sweetheart. And some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
A Candle of Joy from the Arlington Street Congregation for the successful resolution of the Newton teacher strike. A final candle of joy from the Arlington Street Congregation for the lovely sun after days of dreariness.
Sanctuary, all made holy.
the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, and for the world. Amen.
Let's join now in saying together the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Good morning. When my kids were kids, whenever I opened my mouth, they both screamed, "Mom, don't lecture." Fortunately, you are not my children, but my very, very dear friends. So here goes. The quality of your current and future health and life depends not just on your physical care of your body and your brain, but also on your attention to your spirituality, defining what is sacred to you, exploring your inner spiritual beliefs. As a retired nurse, I have read extensively, very extensively, on successful aging, and spirituality is a big piece of our emotional well-being. Inner spiritual relaxation and calm can even decrease stress and anxiety. I do not want my 82-year-old atheist UU heart to stop pumping anytime soon. So contributing monetarily to the heart of my spirituality, our Arlington Street Church is a key part of my life enhancement agenda. Now you, my dear friends, and I have centered our spiritual practice here in our Arlington Street Church, standing on the principles of Unitarian Universalism, including love, equality, the democratic process, and peace. Further, I am an atheist who believes that my sacred spirituality lies in each of us, that we are united in our inner spiritual strength. These UU values and our loving friendship, as America is splitting in two and guns were used to kill 48,830 Americans in 2021 alone. But we stand vigorous and strong in the face of this violence and religious extremism simmering in the ostentatious crystal palaces of worship. Life is richer in community than when we go it alone, states our UU website. Joyfully, I will keep on financially supporting our congregation and our new minister, just as I have been here for you, Kim, and Beth in the past. Our Arlington Street Church community must remain vigorous and strong. I love you and thrive here with you in our rather austere, laid-back sanctuary. Lecture over. Thank you for listening. Now we all can relax as Kim gives us her powerful health-inducing injection of love, belonging, and peace.
Please rise in body, rise in spirit for our next hymn, hymn 9, No Longer Forward Nor Behind, featuring Beck on French horn.
Another thank you to Sue, and also to our beloved Art Nava, who made that happen. Art, you just never cease to amaze me. Thank you, darling. An old farmer relied on his trusty, hardworking horse to plow the fields, but one day the horse broke through its fence and ran away. The farmer's neighbors rushed to console him. "What will you do without your horse during planting season?" They shook their heads. What bad luck. The farmer was grateful for their concern, but only shook his head. Bad luck? Good luck? Who knows? Thus begins one of the most famous Taoist parables dating to the 2nd century BCE in China. A few days later, the horse returned, accompanied by 2 wild horses. The farmer was overjoyed, more help to plow his fields. Once again, the neighbors hurried over. 3 strong horses, what good luck, they said. The farmer smiled. You can say it with me. Bad luck? Good luck? Who knows? The farmer's oldest son mounted one of the wild horses, but the horse threw him and the boy's leg was broken. The neighbors came running again. How terrible that your son won't be able to help you during planting season. What bad luck. Once again, the laconic farmer shook his head. Bad luck? Good luck? Who knows? Not long afterwards, the emperor's army rode into town under ominous gray skies. Their general gave the order to draft the oldest son from every household. House to house they went, but one look at the farmer's son lying in bed with his leg propped up, and the soldiers moved on. The army marched out of town, tearful neighbors waving goodbye to their sons, perhaps forever. Still wiping their eyes, the neighbors gathered at the farmer's home. Your son is here, they cried. What good luck. The farmer looked at them with great compassion. Bad luck? Good luck? Who knows? The traditional text concludes, bad luck brings good luck, and good luck brings bad. This happens without end, and no one can estimate it. Tao means road, path, or way. In Taoism, the commentaries on this story explain that everything, from the smallest detail to great events, is an interplay of light and shadow, happiness and unhappiness, what they call yin and yang. Because it is not ours to know the future, we can't know whether good luck is really good or bad luck is really bad. The work before us, the Taoists teach, is not to languish in apathy or passivity, not to rationalize or tolerate injustice, hoping that things will change someday. The work before us is to reframe our personal narrative and cultivate equanimity, that state of being in which we stop grasping, stop trying to bend circumstances to our will, and adopt a moving posture of ease and fluidity, which underlies and supports our every action. Equanimity is the calm acceptance of life on life's terms. In Buddhism, equanimity is considered one of the 4 Brahma Viharas, or heavenly abodes. In the virtues of equanimity, loving kindness, compassion, and sympathetic joy, that is, joy for others, in these lie our truest happiness. An equanimous perspective allows us to hold lightly the full range of our experience. By my lights, equanimity is the heavenly abode that asks the most of us. My friend Peter Fleck, of blessed memory, a native of Holland, was the personal financial advisor to the Rothschild family. After World War II, he was knighted for his work in rebuilding the financial system in the Netherlands. But he felt called to be a Unitarian Universalist minister, and in his retirement here in the States, we ordained him. Here is one of his good luck, bad luck stories as he preached it. I regret that I can't offer it to you in heavily Dutch accented English, which made his humor even funnier, but you can imagine. He begins, only once, in the hundreds of times I flew on a commercial airline, did I have a feeling that my life was in danger. Ordinarily, I would have taken the shuttle from LaGuardia to Boston, but shuttle service was suspended because, as I later learned, crosswinds would make landing in Boston hazardous. I was told that US Air, then a struggling newcomer among the airlines, would fly from Newark to Boston at 9 o'clock that night. I got the last available seat. Good luck, you might think. Although now we know how it turned out for US Air. We left Newark, circled for half an hour over Boston, and tried to land 3 times. By now, it was well past 11 o'clock. The captain addressed us over the PA system. He apologized for not being able to land, but he was pleased to report that we had sufficient fuel to resort to Plan B. Being ignorant of the existence of Plan A, I could muster only limited enthusiasm for Plan B, and the mention of fuel alarmed me. But what do you do in a case like that? Nothing. Nothing. There is nothing you can do. I wondered what the other passengers were thinking. No one showed concern. The situation was too serious for panic. Finally, We landed on the blessed soil, to quote American author and playwright Jean Kerr, the blessed soil of Hartford, and were transported by bus to Boston, arriving at 3 a.m. Before leaving, I had phoned home. Throughout the long night, my wife Ruth was in touch with U.S. Air. The information was ominous. Then at last came the jubilant news: they've landed in Hartford. Ruth said, "Hartford? Connecticut?" "Lady," said the operator, "you don't understand. They are on the ground." Good luck, after all. Chances are there came a time, probably many times, that every one of us has found ourselves somewhere between a rock and a hard place. Did you wriggle or fight it like crazy? Did you call for help, or did you just collapse? The Buddha taught that cultivating a calm and even temper can come in very handy in those situations. Our inclination is to try to control the outcome, to decide what we'd most like, which would be good and which would be bad, and lean in to achieve one or avoid the other. But life doesn't always work that way. And rather than pitching between overjoyed and utterly defeated, the directive is to pause, call down equanimity, and practice acceptance. Acceptance of reality exactly as it is. Let's say again very quickly that this doesn't mean that we inure ourselves to the real difficulties in our personal and collective lives. We don't rationalize, passively accept injustice, and hope for a good outcome. The teaching says a wise person does not become despondent in adversity and does not become arrogant in times of prosperity. Equanimity is evenness of mind under stress, a habit of mind that is rarely disturbed even under great strain. Equanimity creates some spaciousness, some room to breathe and move, to take the full range of our experience as grist for the mill. Equanimity, to be receptive to the perspective that we don't really know which luck is bad and which is good. Bad luck? Good luck? Who knows? In these times, it feels urgently important to retell stories in which good luck is elevated to grace. On occasion, Peter and Ruth Fleck could be cajoled into telling stories of their escape from the Nazi invasion of Holland, elevating questions of bad luck and good luck to death and life. I want to tell you another story. The Flecks didn't hesitate to leave everything but each other behind, including the fresh grave of their infant son, Jan. It was a terrible time, a time beyond all imagining. It was almost impossible to buy food in Amsterdam. But as they left, a neighbor came by with a farewell gift of a sausage, the greatest generosity. Ruth told me that she removed from her traveling bag a beloved little Chinese antique statue of a kneeling horse and replaced it with the sausage. The only way out of Holland was through Spain or Portugal, the only countries from which ships were still sailing to the Western Hemisphere. To secure a visa, you had to have a receipt for a ticket on one of those ships, which were booked for many months into the future. The steamship companies were no longer even accepting deposits. Nonetheless, Peter went to a travel agent in Amsterdam whom he only vaguely knew. Good luck. A sympathizer. The agent sent a cable to reserve passage for the Flex on the SS Magellans, a name randomly picked out of the scheduled sailings, due to depart from the Spanish port on April 12, 1940. Before he received an answer, which was going to be negative, there was no doubt that it was going to be negative, he wrote a letter confirming that he had reserved passage for the Flex and sent a message to The Hague, who would present to the Spanish consul a copy of his confirmation together with the Flex passports, with the request to stamp Spanish visas into them. It was a brilliant but extremely risky plan in a situation comprised of nothing but escalating risk. The rule governing the fate of all refugees is do not let in what you cannot get out. As the Nazis closed in, Peter and Ruth made their way to the border of San Sebastian in Spain under false pretenses, hardly their usual MO. They handed over their passports to the immigration officer, their hearts thundering in their ears. The agent asked for their steamship tickets. Peter produced the fake confirmation letter, which the Dutch travel agent had written in English. The officers scrutinized the letter carefully. Did he actually know English, or was he just pretending? If he didn't, more good luck. There was no way anyone would believe for a moment that the Flex reservations were real. With a single gesture, he sealed their fate, motioning for them to pass into Bilbao, Spain. Each day there, the Flex lined up with refugees from Germany and all the Nazi-occupied countries trying to secure tickets. But the steamship companies had greedily oversold. They were stuck in Bilbao, and Hitler's army was advancing. Bad luck. Oddly, Peter and Ruth remembered their stay in Bilbao as a happy time. After their daily trip to the ticket agency, they would walk in the surrounding hills, looking out over the Mediterranean. Late in the day, Peter said, its blueness turned to purple, Homer's wine-colored sea. The food was scarce and poor. Bad luck. Peter got sick. Good luck. He visited a doctor who cured him and refused to be paid. He never accepted money from refugees, the doctor said, and wished him luck. There was little fruit available, oranges and bananas. Every morning, the Flex bought their daily supply in a little store run by a kind, elderly, round-faced woman. And then, good luck. One day, at their routine visit to the ticket agency, the Argentine ambassador to Spain had just canceled a large suite of cabins for his family and his retinue. The Flex were offered a tiny cabin, which had been reserved for the ambassador's butler. The agent handed the golden tickets across the desk. They were for the SS Magellans, departing on April 12, 1940. The very ship and the very date that the Amsterdam travel agent had chosen randomly. After the war, the Flex learned that in this way, 20 people had been saved. On the eve of their departure from the famished land of Spain to the abundance of the United States, the Flex went to say goodbye and thank you to the elderly fruit seller. She asked them to wait and came back with a jar of homemade jam she insisted they accept as a farewell gift. Another gift of immeasurable generosity. The next morning, the Magellans sailed to Vigo, Spain, and so began the long westward journey away from the Nazi-infested continent. In the middle of the third night at sea, Peter woke up. It was deadly silent. The throbbing of the ship's engines had stopped. Bad luck. They were either adrift or riding at anchor. Both were ominous, and the worst explanation was first to mind. Had the Nazis invaded Spain and called back the overloaded refugee ship? At sunrise, the Flex went on deck and were told the ship's rudder had been damaged. It was not a convincing story. The day was long. Toward evening, the ship turned around and began to retrace its long journey. They made dry dock in Ferrol, a Navy base on the western tip of Spain's north coast. The passengers had to disembark each morning to forage for food in the little town, which turned out to be a somewhat unproductive enterprise. Bad luck. They were stuck again, this time with military activity swirling around them and with no end in sight. The days followed each other in anxious succession. And then, good luck. After 2 weeks, the Magellans resumed her westward journey, carrying the Flex and their comrades to freedom. Peter always concluded telling this story. Do not ask me why Ruth and I were saved while millions perished. By what mysterious ways and means did bad luck give way to good luck? To raise the question, he said, may well be blasphemous. Not to raise it would be inhuman. So I raise it, but I cannot answer it. In his 1946 classic, Man's Search for Meaning, Austrian psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Dr. Viktor E. Frankl wrote, "Everything can be taken from us but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." What might it look like to go through life with an open and receptive awareness to the end that the lows don't feel so low and the highs, while more than welcome, don't knock you from your grounded center? What might it look like not to cling to any outcome, desired or dreaded, and simply to accept life on life's terms, with all its twists and turns and possibilities? Beloved spiritual companions, may we seek to live in the heavenly abode of equanimity, holding lightly the full range of our experience with a calm acceptance of life on life's terms. We cannot know the mystery of how good luck gives way to bad or bad to good. But we can choose our attitude, choose our own way. May we be like the farmer. Who knows? Amen.
So this song is called Sailboat, and I thought it was a great adjacent metaphor to make about, you can't really control the wind when you're in a sailboat. You just kind of have to hang on for the ride. Just like a sailboat, don't know where I'm headed, but you can't make the wind blow from a sailboat. I have seen the sun, felt the rain on my skin. Mostly I've been waiting. Oh, I'm out in the waves, I'm hoping and praying, and please let this wind blow me home. Night after night there's an empty horizon. My God, do I feel so alone. Sometimes life, most times I feel just like a sailboat. I'm pretty sure I'm hurt. At least I know I'm speaking. But I feel like a fool, 'cause I can't hear you listening. Most times I feel just like a sailboat. The only change I see, lost or found at sea. The only difference is believing I'll make it in. Oh, I'm out in the waves, I'm hoping and praying. Please let this wind blow me home. Night after night, there's an empty horizon. My God, do I feel so alone. Oh, I'm out in the waves, I'm hoping and praying. Please let this wind blow me home. Most times I feel just like a sailboat.
Thanks, Beck and Sam. That was great. Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us. And as you heard this morning, our generosity continues to be astounding. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. Today, our beneficiary is Renewal House. Run by the Unitarian Universalist Urban Ministry, Renewal House provides temporary emergency shelter and advocacy services to individuals and families escaping domestic violence. You can read much more about their life-saving work in the order of service. As some of you may know, I sing in another choir, Coro Allegro. We have a concert Sunday, February 18th at Roxbury Community College, presenting a program of inspiring works by Black American composers in concert with renowned and groundbreaking Black artists from the LGBTQ+ and allied communities as part of our long season of exploration of identity. The concert title is drawn from composer Margaret Bond's 1965 cantata, Credo, I believe, a setting of 1904 W.E.B. Du Bois' poem of the same name. In the face of racism, Bonds and Du Bois's Credo powerfully affirmed the common humanity of all nations, singing out with a faith that all people, Black and brown and white, are brothers. The same spirit inspires William Grant Still's A Psalm for the Living, with lyrics by poet Verna Arvey and his wife, whom he had married in Mexico due to anti-miscegenation laws in their home of California. Completing the program are African American spirituals created from the experience of American slavery, plus gospel works and art songs they inspired, which together form the backbone and foundation of so much of American music. One of the soloists, Reggie Mobley, is a Grammy award-winning artist who has performed with Coro before and is performing with Handel and Haydn this weekend. It's going to be an amazing concert. Please join us. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to our beloved spiritual community and filling our virtual collection plate. You can give online by scanning this QR code in the order of service, go to ascboston.org, text your gift, or Venmo at Arlington Street. If you're Zooming, you can mail a check into the church. If you're in person, please use the envelopes in the pews, which can be handed to Rev Kim, to me, or any of our ushers after the service. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, Hyunju. There are weekly gatherings in the Arlington Street Zoom room for loving kindness meditation, poetry, yoga, and writing. If you like to sing, the Arlington Street Choir welcomes you to come rehearse in person on Thursday evenings. No experience is necessary. Every Wednesday at 4 o'clock, Rev Kim and Rev Beth host a tea party with a conversation prompt. This week's prompt is, if you were going to make a playlist to pump yourself up, what songs would be on it? And as a reminder that Boston's Winter Walk to End Homelessness begins on the Boston Common next Sunday morning at 8:30. Information and Zoom room links for all these offerings are at ascboston.org. To attend any of them, you don't have to be a member, you don't have to turn your video or talk if you don't want to, and they're all free. All are always welcome. Following the service, everyone is welcome to join the virtual coffee hour. If you'd like to participate, join the Arlington Street Zoom room and answer yes to the breakout room invitation that will appear on your screen. If you're here in person, following the service, we'll gather in the Honeywell Chapel for a live chat coffee hour right through the leather door to the right of the pulpit. Thanks to all of you who joined in today's service and to all that make it possible. Remember, we're all in this together. We love you. Now, please rise in body, rise in spirit for our final hymn, hymn 126, Come, Thou Fount of Every Blessing.
For our benediction, I invite those of you in the Zoom room to please reach out and touch the sides of your Hollywood Square. And for those of you in the sanctuary to please raise your hands, palms out. Let's send loving kindness to the people to your left and to your right. Send loving kindness to the person on either side of you, the people on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I'm going to invite you to put your hands over your heart in Namaste. I bow to the divine in you. Adapted from Clarissa Pinkola Estes. One of the most calming and powerful actions we can take to intervene in a stormy world is to stand up and show our souls. Souls shine like gold in dark times. The light of the soul throws sparks, sends up flares, builds signal fires. Remember, we were made for these times. Do not lose heart. You are not alone. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. I love you. Amen.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.